What would be your advice to wine professionals getting into whiskey? How should they start? What are the things that they should start with in this segment?
Yeah, so if you're a new professional thinking about getting into whiskey, specifically like owning your own distillery or something like that, I would recommend starting small, slow, but be very, very focused. The reason I mention that is because in 2005, when we opened up, there were only like 40 distilleries in the United States outside of Kentucky. It was a very small industry, and we kind of had the ability to figure things out as we went. Even if we released a product that was just mediocre, people would still support us because it was an uncommon business and they wanted us to grow, and they were kind of in our corner. Well, now in the United States alone, there's over 2,500 distilleries in the country.
Wow.
So there's been this massive boom and distilleries coming online, and that has created a much more competitive market. So I would be very strategic in how you spend your money, and I would have a very strong vision in what you're trying to do, because you no longer have the ability to figure this out as you go. Day one, when you release your product, it needs to be ready, it needs to be of quality, and most importantly, it needs to be of value to consumer. So if they spend X dollars on it, the value that they get out of it has to be above what they paid for it. Otherwise, they are no longer going to come back and support your product. There's too many options. They're going to go out and support someone else. So the market has definitely changed in that sense. You can still do this. You can still start a distillery, and you can still, be a part of all this. But more so than ever before, it's important to have a solid business plan, and it's important to have a very strong vision of what you're trying to do and accomplish, and staying focused on that.
Absolutely. And more on the consumer side, for our wine lover audience, which Cedar Ridge bottle would you recommend to start with?
So on the wine side, I'd have to go with our quintessential single malts. As like an entry, I would recommend our quintessential Solera edition. It is a 92 proof single malt. The reason that I'm pitching that one here is because there are just so many different wine casks involved in it. That's the one that I mentioned earlier with the vat that we're filling up with all these different finishing casks. You can sit down and taste through that single malt, and you can find notes of sherry. You can find notes of like Cabernet, for instance, because there are Cabernet casks used in it. So you can really sit down and study that product in particular and try to pick out those notes, very similar to how you would experience a wine. And at the end of the day, I think that's what people want. Whiskey consumers and wine consumers alike is something that's going to provide an experience that's memorable, that's unique and interesting. And that Solera edition would be the one that I think that fits the bill.
Perfect. I would recommend to all of our viewers to try it.
Thanks for watching this video. You can watch the full podcast episode by clicking here, or watch another interesting video by clicking here. Let's continue the discussion in the comment section, and see you in the next one.